Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. Big news for football and soccer fans. Levi Stadium in California is set to host two major sporting events in 2026. Hollywood action star Arnold Schwarzenegger is revealed to be Netflix's new chief action officer. The announcement came in a tongue-in-cheek teaser for the actor's upcoming films. State lawmakers failed to pass around 300 bills in one day. We'll have more on what happened and why. First up, some big sports news. Levi Stadium will be making sporting history in 2026. It's home to the San Francisco 49ers and set to host two major sporting events. Let's check in with Tyler Castillo and Carlos Reyes for more at the stadium.
Levi Stadium, located in the heart of California's Bay Area, is set to make sporting history as it prepares to host both the Super Bowl and the World Cup in 2026. The Super Bowl, the pinnacle of American football, needs no introduction. It is a cultural phenomenon that captivates millions of viewers worldwide, combining intense competition, captivating halftime shows, and memorable commercials. As the most watched sporting event on the planet, the World Cup captivates billions of fans with its passion, drama, and unforgettable moments.
I'm Tyler Castillo here with Carlos Reyes in front of the Levi Stadium, home of the 49ers, where it was announced that they'll be hosting the 60th Super Bowl.
That's right, Tyler. Exciting news as the Bay Area gets ready to host yet another Super Bowl 10 years after Super Bowl 50. But the excitement doesn't stop there because Levi Stadium is also set to play host for several World Cup matches in 2026.
We are going to get a feel for the atmosphere and ask some people around how they feel about the sporting events being hosted here at Santa Clara.
I mean, financially, it's huge. You know, you have all these mom and pop restaurants that probably aren't busy, during the week or the weekend. So just having people come, and fill their restaurants, financially, it's going to be a huge impact to this city.
And as a 49ers fan, clearly, how do you feel about Levi Stadium hosting another Super Bowl?
It's going to be amazing. I might have to come out here. I'm from Houston, Texas.
The significance of hosting both the Super Bowl and the World Cup in the same year cannot be overstated.
And which teams are you looking forward to participate in that Super Bowl?
The 49ers and the 49ers.
As the countdown to 2026 begins, the Bay Area stands ready to welcome the global sporting community with open arms.
Not long ago, we reported Arnold Schwarzenegger rolling up his sleeves and grabbing a shovel to fill a pothole in the city of Los Angeles. Now, the former governor of California and Hollywood's big action star is ready for even more action, this time as Netflix's new chief action officer.
No one loves action as much as I do.
Nobody knows action like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and nobody hits like Netflix. Netflix made the announcement through a tongue-in-cheek promotional video.
New job as Netflix's chief action officer.
The explosions you asked for?
Bigger.
In a press release, Netflix says Arnold is working around the clock to bring you the most explosive series and films on Earth. Whether the upcoming TV comedy series Fubar stars the 75-year-old in his first leading role in a scripted live-action television series. The series is set to premiere on May 25th. Another series Arnold is involved in is a three-part documentary series called none other than Arnold. It shows never-before-seen footage and stories of Arnold Schwarzenegger's journey from rural Austria to his time governing the state of California, including interviews with himself, his friends, foes, co-stars, and observers. Netflix saw the biggest growth during the COVID-19 pandemic due to the increased popularity of online streaming. The company has around 232.5 million paid subscribers worldwide as of the first quarter of 2023. With Monday's announcement, Netflix says that the company is cranking its action slate into the next year. And at the state capitol, around 300 bills failed to pass. Many of those bills would have pushed the Democrats' interests. So why did the supermajority not pass them? Let's take a look.
Approximately 300 bills failed to pass California's Assembly and Senate Appropriations Committees last week. The bills were part of what is known as a suspense hearing. That's when the Senate refers any proposals with a minimum $50,000 effect to the Senate Appropriations Committee, and the Assembly refers those exceeding $150,000 to the Assembly Appropriations Committee. Those that survive are reviewed by the other House's Appropriations Committee before being sent to the floor for final consideration. More than 1,100 bills were considered in the fast-paced sessions. However, many failed to pass. Among those were bills that represented Democrats' interests, who hold a supermajority. Lawmakers were potentially eyeing the state's $30 billion deficit following Governor Gavin Newsom's May budget revision announced a week before. During a press conference announcing the May budget revision, Newsom advised caution when passing bills.
We have all these amazing bills. They're amazing. I mean, nothing worse. You know, I sit here, I care about what they care about. The vast majority of the bills I get, I'm like, boy, I'd love to do that. You know, I want a little expression of a deeper understanding now of the nature of the budgetary constraints and just get it done in the budget.
Some of the bills that failed to advance were about promoting abortion access, climate initiatives, gun control, and homelessness. The Assembly Appropriations Committee told reporters after the hearing that it is a different time that we have to operate in, so it is a lens that we have to look through all the bills. However, not only Democrats issued got stalled. A Republican assemblyman introduced a bill targeting retail theft failed. After it failed to pass, he said there is absolutely no fiscal or non-political argument the Appropriations Committee could make as to why the retail theft bill should not have been sent to the floor for a full vote. Californians in our retail businesses deserve to know the real data behind retail theft. Concerns about the budget will now be debated by the legislature in the coming weeks.
As lawmakers review hundreds of bills, Governor Gavin Newsom is reviewing his new budget to, quote, hold big oil accountable. But one senator is questioning a budget provision for a tax increase on electricity consumption, which will fund oil profit investigations.
Governor Gavin Newsom proposes to raise electricity consumption taxes in his recent push to punish big oil. The governor told Californians in a video posted back in January that they won't have to pay a cent for his new law. But his new budget now proposes to increase the state's electrical energy surcharge by $6 million a year. This surcharge is a tax paid by the state's electricity consumers based on their amount of consumption. This tax would then fund over a dozen new positions at California Energy Commission, responsible for figuring out if oil refineries are charging too much and are price gouging at the pump. This led to State Senator Brian Daly questioning a state finance department representative.
Why are we paying electricity rates to go after oil producers or to fund the positions when it should come out of the general fund? At the end of the day, why are ratepayers on the hook? As we've heard many times in this committee over the last 2 months, low-income, disadvantaged folks are paying those bills.
But the finance representative didn't answer the question. This all comes as Newsom signed a bill into law back in March that would allow the state to investigate oil refinery profits and possible price gouging at the pump. Under this law, the Energy Commission will be allowed to set a maximum profit margin for oil refining. Oil companies will be required to report daily operations and other data. A spokesman for Newsom said this new law should not be blamed for the proposed surcharge increase, saying, quote, the change to the California Energy Commission funding proposal would have been the same whether or not the gasoline price gouging law was enacted, as this is the third time this proposal has been presented given the CEC's ongoing structural budget deficit. The law was spurred by last year's record-high gas prices.
This all comes as Newsom's Senate Bill 2 aimed to, quote, punish oil companies would take effect at the end of June. Some lawmakers say bill's language was vague on how the state would pay for its implementation, as this year's revised budget projects a major deficit of $31.5 billion. We'll take a short break now, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Around 30 tons of explosive material has gone missing. The shipment was on its way from Wyoming to California. Lingering cold weather is causing problems in the agriculture industry. Some plants are thriving in the wetter than normal conditions, while others not so much. And ever heard of a 12-year-old who is graduating from college? We'll meet a young boy who did just that, while also earning 5 degrees. Those stories and more coming up on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Zhang. 30 tons of an explosive chemical went missing when it left Wyoming for California. Now authorities are looking into its disappearance.
Authorities are investigating what happened to the 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, a chemical used as a fertilizer and in explosives. According to a report from Dyno Nobel, the company responsible for shipping the chemical, it was shipped by rail from Cheyenne, Wyoming to California on April 12th. But when the train arrived at a rail stop 2 weeks later in the Mojave Desert, the rail car was empty. The company filed a report on May 10th. Now, the Federal Railroad Administration, the California Public Utilities Commission, Union Pacific, and Dyno Nobel are investigating. The rail car was transported back to Wyoming for inspection. In an email to NTD, the spokesperson for Dyno Nobel said there is no indication of any danger to the public and no indication the pellets were intentionally taken by anyone. Instead, the company said the rail car started leaking at the bottom during transit and that the amount would not harm the surrounding environment and communities since it's used for industrial and agriculture purposes. The chemical was headed to Saltdale, California.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, many California hospitals were forced to use their reserve funds as the cost and demand for nurses spiked. This week, the governor signed a bill to provide financial relief to California hospitals still struggling.
Governor Gavin Newsom, along with members of the state's legislature, signed the Distressed Hospital Loan Program bill into law on May 15th. The $150 million program will provide zero-interest loans to nonprofit or public hospitals experiencing extreme financial distress and will help struggling hospitals remain open or assist hospitals that have closed to reopen their doors. In a May 15th press release, Newsom says, quote, "This new program will help hospitals in extreme financial distress get the assistance they need as quickly as possible. My administration has been working closely with hospitals across the state, and we will continue to do all we can to ensure communities can continue to access the care and services they need without disruption." The Department of Healthcare Access and Information, in coordination with the California Health Facilities Financing Authority, will create eligibility criteria, with priority given to hospitals with a high proportion of Medi-Cal patients. Qualifying hospitals would be required to submit a plan detailing how they will return to financial viability and continue to operate in the long term. The COVID-19 pandemic resulted in many hospitals having to use their reserve funds as the cost of supplies and medications became more expensive. Some hospitals were also forced to hire traveling nurses after hundreds of nurses left the profession due to fatigue or disagreements over pandemic policies.
California's unusual weather this spring is causing issues in the agriculture industry. Some crops are seeing a delay in growth, while others are thriving in the wetter and cooler than usual weather.
The large amount of rainfall in California this spring is causing problems for some farmers, while bringing much-needed water relief to others. First, the negative impacts. Soil saturated with water is delaying growth in some crops and increasing fungus susceptibility. Producers of peaches, plums, and apricots all anticipate less harvest this season. They pointed to cold weather delaying growth, fewer bees affecting pollination rates, and rains destroying blossoms. According to industry experts, this could mean less availability and potentially higher prices in grocery stores. Powdery mildew and fungal diseases thrive on excess moisture. As a result, farmers across the state are now preparing for preventive treatments this summer. However, there are some positives to the heavy rainfall. As the third most valuable crop in the state, valued at approximately $5 billion annually, almond trees require significant water to thrive. According to the California Department of Food and Agriculture, the state's years-long drought led to the removal of thousands of acres of almond trees last year. Almond farms in the Central Valley are still predicting a smaller crop. On the other hand, avocados, which like to thrive in wet weather, should be plentiful. The California Avocado Commission told the Epoch Times avocados will be exceptionally high quality this year, as soils are deeply saturated with clean rainwater. The Golden State is the leading agricultural producer in the United States. It grows more than 75% of the country's fruits and nuts and more than a third of its vegetables.
California's population has been declining as of late. The state's Department of Transportation anticipates the drop to continue, which could lead to another state taking California's long-held status of being the most populous state.
According to the California Department of Transportation, if the state's population continues to decrease at its current rate, Texas could soon replace the Golden State as the most populous. California's population currently sits at roughly 39 million, but a continuous decline could put the state at approximately 35.7 million by 2050. If these statistics prove to be true, Texas could surpass California as the most populous state in 2042, when the Lone Star State is anticipating 37.6 million residents, compared to California's 37.1 million. Looking at more concrete numbers, California's population dipped 0.4% from January 2022 compared to the same time this year. Many factors have been attributed to this loss. Nevada State Senator Jeff Stone said that high taxes, expensive energy, and restrictive regulations are motivating people to leave. Stone told the Epoch Times, "It's all about the collective insults that have caused people like me to say California can't be fixed." Stone is a former California state senator. He moved his real estate business to Nevada 5 years ago. The Internal Revenue Service also reported that $29.1 billion disappeared from California's personal income tax base in 2021. According to the IRS, more people left for Texas than any other state, with Arizona, Nevada, Washington, and Florida trailing behind.
A 12-year-old became the youngest to graduate from Fullerton College, and doing so with 5 degrees.
12-year-old Clovis Hung became the youngest graduate from Fullerton College to earn 5 degrees. Hung was just 9 years old when he enrolled in the college's special admit program. The program allows some high school students to earn college credits for free. Hung's mother has been homeschooling her son alongside the college courses. She said he is highly self-motivated and goal-oriented. Hung said, quote, "After that first history class, I found out I could handle it well and instantly fell in love with college life. So I challenged myself to take more classes." He said he was inspired by Jack Rico, a 13-year-old who earned 4 degrees at Fullerton College in 2020. Hung earned 5 Associate of Arts degrees in History, Social Sciences, Social Behavior and Self-Development, Arts and Human Expression, and Science and Mathematics. His political science professor said Hung was able to thrive within the honors program, and he's made meaningful connections with other students and faculty. Hung said he plans to continue taking STEM classes at Fullerton College until he applies to universities in the fall.
Now let's check back in with NTD's Carlos Reyes for the rest of our sports roundup. We have more on the 49ers and others.
This is your California Sports Roundup. We have some exciting scores to cover today. I'm Carlos Reyes. First up, the San Francisco 49ers partnered with Shoe Palace to host a friendly game of kickball between 49er players and the San Jose Police Department at Excite Ballpark on Sunday, May 21st. This unifying event aimed to enhance local police community relations and continue to raise awareness and inspire conversation about social justice. 49ers players faced off in a game of kickball and a home run derby against SJPD in front of fans and children from local youth football and nonprofit programs. Proceeds from this fun event will be donated to the nonprofit San Jose African American Community Service Agency, selected by the 49ers Social Justice Committee. SJPD Patrol Captain Brian Spears had this to say about the friendly competition.
Well, this was an opportunity of a lifetime to start truly working in collaboration with our community, and it really starts with us. It starts with us being a part of the city and a professional football team like the 49ers. It's amazing. So, we have to lead by example, and I hope we're starting that today. Just the opportunity to come out, definitely the support for the crowd was huge. Meeting the players, seeing how family-oriented. There's a lot of things that we all have in similarities. And
notable attendees included the following 49ers faithful players: Brandon Ayuk, Arik Armstead, Jake Brendel, Ty Davis Prince, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, Talanoa Hufanga, Juwan Jennings, Javon Kinlaw, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and Mitch Wisnowski. 49ers defensive lineman Arik Armstead took a moment to share his feelings about the event.
We're here today at Excite Ballpark. We had a kickball game with SJPD, San Jose Police Department. Just bridging the gap between the police and the community is very important, especially in a time like this. We want to continue those relationships. They're a vital part of our community, and so we came out here and had a lot of fun. A bunch of fans came and got to be around some Niner players and support us as well, and raise some money to empower youth. So it was a great day.
In addition to yesterday's event, the 49ers will continue to identify ways in which the team could come together, inspire change, and advocate for the voiceless. Nikola Jokic is about to say hello to the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, LeBron James is hinting that he might say goodbye to the NBA. The stars were stars in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals when Jokic and the Denver Nuggets finished off a sweep of James and the Los Angeles Lakers to make the title series for the first time. Jokic averaged a triple-double for his second consecutive series and broke Wilt Chamberlain's single-season playoff record with his 8th triple-double of this postseason run. James finished his season with 40 points, an impressive display by the NBA's all-time scoring leader. But after the game, James cast some doubt on whether he'll return for a 21st season. That is it for today's sports. Thank you for watching. I'm Carlos Reyes.
Thanks, Carlos. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ganjing World, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.